Hi, my name is Remaray with eXp Realty, and today I'm going to walk you through 5 things your real estate agent is not telling you before selling your home. Not because agents are hiding anything, but because these topics usually don't come up until you are already deep into the process. Before we get into today's topic, I want to start with something most sellers do not realize until it's already happening. Selling a home looks simple from the outside, but it rarely feels simple when you're in it. From the outside, it looks like one big decision. You list the house, you accept an offer, and you move on. But the truth is, selling a home, dozens of small decisions spread over weeks, sometimes months, and each one has consequences. I hear the same thing from sellers all the time. I wish someone told me this earlier. No one explained this part. I did not expect it to feel like this. And these aren't inexperienced people. These are smart homeowners who just weren't prepared for what actually happens when the process starts. So today, I want to slow everything down, not to scare you, not to overwhelm you, but to prepare you. Because when sellers know what's coming, they don't panic, they don't overact, and they don't make emotional decisions that cost them money. Let's start with the first one, and this one surprises almost every seller. Your home is not sold just because you accepted an offer. I know it feels like the finish line. You sign the paperwork, you breathe a sigh of relief, and you start thinking about packing and planning your next move. But in reality, accepting an offer is just the beginning. Once an offer is accepted, the buyer still has inspections to complete, an appraisal to get through, loan approval to secure, and underwriting to pass, and multiple deadlines to meet. Any of these steps can slow things down, bring up questions, or require negotiation. This is why I always tell sellers not to book movers right away, not to pack everything up immediately, and not to emotionally check out of the transaction. Escrow is a process, not a guarantee. Most deals that fall apart do not fall apart because of the price. They fall apart because expectations were unrealistic or because sellers were not prepared for what comes next. When sellers understand this upfront, they're calmer through the process and they make better decisions and the transaction moves more smoothly. Now let's talk about the second thing sellers almost always misunderstand. Selling your home as is does not mean the buyer won't ask for credit or repair. This is one of the biggest misconceptions in real estate. As is does not mean no inspection. It does not mean no negotiation. And it definitely does not mean the buyer simply accepts everything they find without a discussion. After inspections, buyers almost always come back with requests. Sometimes they ask for credit, sometimes they ask for price adjustment, and sometimes they ask for specific issues to be addressed. This does not mean your home is bad. It does not mean the deal is falling apart. It means the buyer is doing what responsible buyers do. Your role as a seller is not to say yes to everything, but also not to shut everything down. The goal is to understand what's reasonable, what's typical, and what truly matters in order to keep the deal moving forward. This is where experience matters because reacting emotionally to repair requests can turn a manageable negotiation into a lost deal. The right guidance helps sellers protect their bottom line while still keeping the buyer engaged. Now let's talk about the third thing sellers are least prepared for and that most emotionally affected by. Once you are under contract, the buyer will visit your home multiple times, not just once. This is the phase of the sale where sellers often feel uncomfortable, frustrated, or even defensive. And it's also the phase that quietly determines whether the deal actually closes. Once a buyer goes under contract, their mindset shifts completely. They're no longer shopping emotionally. They are no longer imagining possibilities. They are now verifying risk. They are deciding whether the home they emotionally chose actually makes sense financially, structurally, and legally. So the first major visit is usually the general home inspection. This is not someone walking through casually. It's an inspectors are opening door, testing outlets, running appliances, checking water pressure, inspecting attics, crawl spaces, garages, electrical panels, the HVAC systems, and more. This inspection alone takes several hours. For some sellers, this can feel invasive. The home that felt private suddenly feels examined. But inspections are not a judgment, they are documentation. Every home has issue, including new home and luxury properties. Inspections exist to create clarity, not to find perfection. After the general inspection, buyers often schedule follow-up visits. If plumbing concerns come up, a plumber may come. If electrical issues are noted, an electrician may visit. Roof structure, engineer, and other specialists may be involved depending on what the inspection reveals. Each of these professionals need to assess to different parts of the home. Closets gets opened because plumbing lines often run there. Kitchen drawers are checked because appliances can connect there, and garages are inspected because water heaters and electrical panels are usually there. Side yards are reviewed because drainage affects foundations. So from the seller's perspectives, it can feel too many visits, but from the buyer's perspectives, this is not access, this is protection. So what sellers need to really understand that the buyer is not trying to inconvenience you. The buyer is trying to remove uncertainty, and uncertainty is the single biggest deal killer in real estate. Every unanswered question increases hesitation, and every restriction on access increases suspicion, even when nothing is wrong. This is why sellers who resist access, delay appointments, or try to rush inspection over-experience harder negotiations later. Transparency builds trust. Resistance builds doubt. Now let's talk about the appraisal visit. Appraisers are not there to admire your home or validate your upgrades emotionally. They are there to protect the lender. They will walk the property, take photos, measure rooms, and compare your home to recent sales. If the appraisal comes in at value, the deal moves forward. If it comes in low, everything changes. Preparation and cooperation matter here more than sellers realize. Then comes the final walkthrough, which is one of the most emotionally charged moments for buyers. This is their last chance to confirm the home is in the same condition it was when they made the offer and that any negotiated items were addressed. Buyers are alert, nervous, and cautious. This is not the time for tension. And now let's talk about the emotional side for sellers. Even though the home is under contract, sellers still feel like it's theirs emotionally. And that's normal. But reacting defensively during inspections often creates friction. Buyers sense tension quickly. And when they do, they protect themselves financially. That's when credits grow, negotiations get harder, and deals become fragile. Sellers who understand this phase ahead of time approach it calmly. They allow reasonable access, stay cooperative, and trust the process. That calmness builds trust, and trust reduces concessions. More buyers' visits do not mean a weak deal. In many cases, it means a serious buyer. Buyers who intend to close want certainty. Access does not create problems. Avoidance does. Now let's move into number 4, especially relevant in Los Angeles County and in California in general. The paperwork is overwhelming. Yes, California has some of the most detailed disclosure requirements in the country. Many sellers think their agent is overdoing it, but the truth is, the paperwork comes from the California Association of Realtors and it's required by law. Disclosures exist to protect you legally and to ensure transparency. Your agent's role is to explain the paperwork, guide you through it, and make sure you understand what you are disclosing and why it matters. When sellers understand this, the paperwork becomes far less intimidating. Finally, let's talk about the 5th thing sellers do not expect: a lot of people are involved in selling your home, not just your real estate agents. There's escrow, there's title, there's the buyer's agents, the buyer's lender, the inspectors, the appraisers, and sometimes HOAs or attorneys in some cases. That means constant communication, emails, documents, and coordination happens behind the scenes. Selling a home is not a solo effort, and it's not something you should manage on your own. Your agent should be the point person keeping everything organized, calm, and moving forward. Now, I know this sounds like a lot, but here's the most important thing to understand. Selling your home does not have to be stressful when you know what to expect and when you have the right team guiding you. Most stress comes from surprises, not from the process itself. If you're thinking about selling your home and want clarity instead of surprises, I would love to help. My name is Remaray with the Realty Group, and thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.